Welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Robotics Notes Elite. In the last episode, Kaito and Akio were testing the might of M45 versus the agility of the Honorary Prez, when the worst possible outcome had occurred. Hiromu Hidaka had managed to track down Subaru at the old airport and dragged him back home, forcing him to confront the truth that he had hidden from his own father regarding his activities and more besides, which basically means that I'm pretty sure we can say that our going to Las Vegas is a no-go under the current circumstances. There's nothing we can do about it now. But anyway, Kaito has returned to the Airi General Store. Mizuka has a very intensive expression on her face, which can only mean one thing.
昨日頼んだ情報、もう手に入った。
She usually grins at me with confidence, but today she just gives me a death glare. Unsurprising considering the fact that Kaito knew the name of somebody that that in many respects he shouldn't have. Yesterday I came here alone on the way home to voluntarily torture myself in the name of our passion accord. I wanted to know why Subaru's father hates hobby robots so much.
出直してきた方がいいかな。
情報ならとっくに仕入れ済みだよ。
Mizuka-san is clearly in a mood. She was looking sour yesterday, but I insisted. I kept my expectations low, but I guess she takes this job seriously. I don't think, however, that it's Hiromu that Mizuka is upset about Kaito.
また秋のために一肌脱ごうとしてるんだろ？
まあ、そうかな。
In a roundabout sort of way. This isn't for Subaru, the club, or because I want to go to the Robo 1 World Championships. At the end of the day, my greatest motivation comes from wanting to support Akio. Despite how I act, I really do want to help her achieve her dreams. Again, kind of a bit hypocritical in a certain sense there, Kaito. I just don't want to help her directly. So at the very least I can do this sort of behind-the-scenes follow-up so that she can pursue her dreams smoothly.
秋は幸せ者だよ、多分。
なんで拗ねてるか知らないけど、そういうこと言ってるとおばさん臭いって言われちゃうよ、水香さん。ん？すいません、嘘です。なんでもないです。今日もお綺麗ですね。
The death glare she gives me is enough to make me backpedal immediately. Mizuka-san sighs and gazes off into the distance.
お父さんは息子に後を継いでほしいっていうありふれた話さ。
Yeah, well, that was easily surmisable. She suddenly starts filling me in on the details.
スバルの父親、日高博夢って名前ね。職業は漁師。ところが息子はロボット工学の道に進みたいって言い出しちゃったのさ。しかもまだ中学生だった頃にね。
And of course, we all know about Hiromu's attitude about Subaru's decision.
だもんだから父親は強引に息子からおもちゃのロボットを取り上げたと。
One of those old-fashioned dads, he definitely acted like he was from the late 40s or something yesterday, so I guess I was right.
中学生の頃、スバルはロボットの大会で3位だったんだろ。
ロボワンでね、中学生で3位はかなりの快挙だよ。
The robot boom was well underway, and Robot 1 was on the fast track to world recognition. Lots of participants too.
スバルは中学生の頃からおもちゃのロボットをいじるのが得意だったわけだ。でも、中学卒業と同時にそれを禁止された。それ以来、少なくともスバルはロボットには全く興味を持たなくなったし、むしろ憎んでいるくらいの言動をとっていた。
Or so it appeared.
それはカイやアキの方が詳しいだろ。
I do recall him being weirdly hostile toward both Akio and the Robotics Club. But it wasn't that he didn't hate robots. He was just had quite a bit of contempt for the way that Akio and even Kaito were treating the club. But now I get it. He never really hated robots. He just acted like he did, even though he was still fascinated by them. Maybe that was his way of appeasing his father. I threw away all my robots, eh? He was refusing Akio's invitations to join the club because of the promise he'd made with his father. But because deep down, because he wanted to keep playing with robots, he disguised himself and entered Robo 1 under the guise of Mr. Pleiades. What a rebellious guy.
なんで父親はそんなにホビーロボを目の敵にしてるのかな。
息子がロボットに夢中で自分の後を継いでくれなさそうだからムカついたんだろう。
理不尽だな。
世の中にはそういう親子結構多いと思うけどね。
Unfortunately.
息子の夢に理解ある親も父親に反発できる息子もそんなにたくさんいるとは思えないな。
I guess not.
あ、それとあの人、ロボットだけじゃなくてロケットも嫌いらしいよ。
何それ、ダジャレ？
Mizuka-san cracks her knuckles ostentatiously. I really need to watch my mouth today, lest I not make it home in one piece.
漁師やってる人は口には出さなくても JAXA のことはやっぱりよくは思ってないだろ。
The thought crossed the mind.
漁業組合と JAXA は宇宙センターを作るときにきちんと話し合って今じゃ良好な関係築いてるけどさ、漁師の全員が全員同じ考えってわけじゃないだろうから。
Hiromu is one of them.
漁師と JAXA はなんで揉めるの？
カイ、あんたそんなことも知らないの？島の人間ならそれくらい勉強しときな。
って言われても、俺の家は漁師じゃないし。
Mizuka-san's size on my face. But then again, Kaito has always buried his nose deep in Kill-Ballad, so...
ロケット打ち上げるだろ。それでほら、打ち上げた後、途中で何か切り離して落としてくじゃないか。
I think I can see where she's going with this.
ブースターでしょ。
詳しくはよく知らないけど、それは当然海に落ちるわけだから、その海で仕事している漁師にしてみりゃ迷惑だろ。打ち上げ日は漁も禁止になるしね。
ああ、そういうこと。
JAXA はかなり誠意を尽くしてるけど、あいにく日高さんところは内心納得いってなかったんだろうね。
でも、それとロボットを嫌うことにどんな関係が？
結局、スバルがロボット工学に興味を持ったのは、JAXA がやったロボット関係のセミナーというか体験会みたいなものがきっかけらしいから。
That is unfortunate.
え、それだけ？ほとんど関係ないじゃないか。
でも一般人からすりゃ、ロケットもロボットも同じなのさ。
Indeed, unfortunately.
ロボワンだっけ？あれだって JAXA が開催してるもんだと勘違いしてる人、この島には結構いると思うし。
Not that it would matter to Hiromu, even if it wasn't, which it isn't.
私だってそうさ。10年前に初めてその大会の名前を聞いたときは同じ誤解をしてたよ。
But having said that, so that's how it is.
でもそれって解決法は簡単だよね。漁師は仕
Unfortunately,
事
no.
としてきちんと継ぐ。ロボットは趣味としてやっていく。それでいいんじゃないの？
You're thinking a little too simplistically there,
そ
Kaito.
こまでは私だって知らないさ。感情的なもつれがいろいろあったんだろ。
感情ね。
Something along those lines. His dad even said as much. He wasn't mad about the robots, he was mad that Subaru went behind his back and lied in order to continue. That makes this messy. That it does. I doubt this is something an outsider can fix. If anything, a punk like me getting involved would only make matters worse. I feel bad for Akio, but it's probably not worth the trouble getting Subaru back in the Robotics Club.
それにしても、あのスバル君が将来漁師か。ひょろひょろでどう見ても体力なさそうだけど。
I can't stop myself from laughing a bit after drawing a mental image of future Subaru in my mind. Okay, so we didn't bring up the subject of Ko Kimijima. She was in the way. An old emotion drifts by in the back of my mind. Maybe the reason why Mizuka didn't bring it up in front of Kaito is because she's trying to deal with it herself. It's bittersweet, causing something deep in my chest to tighten up. As soon as I close my eyes to try and get to the bottom of those feelings, the truck I'm riding in rocks back and forth and comes to a turbulent stop. There are no other vehicles in the parking lot of Uchugaoka Park. It can fit about 50 cars, but the place rarely fills now. A few years ago, it would be packed with people on the launch day.
よーし、着いたぜ。
And she's not alone, she's got Michi with
ありがと
her.
う。相変わらずあんた、運転荒いね。
Yeah, I was gonna say kudos for him to being a chauffeur of things, but yeah, I won't compliment him on that
法
actually.
定速度は守ってるぞ。
そうなんだよな。だったらなんだってこんなに荒い運転になるんだか。
Hmm. Probably because of the vehicle as well, on top of his driving skills or lack thereof. I open the passenger door. I then place my feet flat on the ground. As I slowly transition my body weight to my lower body, the HUG's motor activates and stabilizes my balance.
晴れたね。
Indeed, it's not raining anymore. Kind of feels like the rain from an hour or so ago was just a dream. Yeah, you'd be surprised how often that can happen. Right now, the sunset proudly dominates the sky. I give myself a good stretch, and there's a rocket memorial in the middle of the park as well, which is kind of neat. The scent of rain and soil tickles my nose. It's been a while. I rarely step outside on rainy days nowadays, and with very good reason. The air is cooler than usual, but the moistness still lingers around my skin, and it's a little annoying. I stand up and begin walking. The HUG unit equipped on my legs sounds louder than usual, perhaps because the park is dead silent. Still, the HUG's drive noise has dropped a ton over the years. So says Takagi, my HUG engineer, the only person who is allowed to do maintenance on Mizuka's HUG support.
おいよ。
Michi catches up with me and hands me his Pokecom. I grab it and take a look at the screen.
わかるか？もう色は立ち上がってるからな。
That it is.
それくらい、私でもわかるよ。
Michi and I have known each other since high school. Even back then he was a condescending prick. It's like very little has changed since those days. I can't even begin to count how many times I've kicked his ass. But even then I just can't bring myself to hate him. I can, on certain occasions, but this of course isn't one of them.
でもよ、本当にいるのか？いいか？幽霊ってのはな、それぞれの心の中にだけ住んでるんだぞ。心理状態の投影なんだ。これ、豆知識な。
Part of me was thinking since Michi was so close with Mizuka and Misaki that He might have known about Ko Kimijima and also Airi as well. But, well, given what he's just said, and given his demeanor, which is clueless as always, he's completely unaware of that reality. You can't hate him, but he'll make sure you want to punch him. That's Michi in a nutshell. Having known for him for about 10 years now, I've long since grown tired of actually reacting to everything he says.
しばらく借りるよ。
Of course, for Mizuka, IIUO is the only way of getting in contact with Airi. I stand still, holding the Pokécom up to my eyes and scan my surroundings with IIUO. There's the Minamitane Community Center, aka the old town hall where Airi was kept and where the first report file was located, and was returned to its rightful place. But there should be other points where Airi can quote-unquote move around, even if they are
じゃあ、俺
fragmentary.
は車で待ってるからよ。飽きたら戻ってくるんだぞ。
ああ、
Yeah, you do that, Michi. I see Michi off through the IIUO screen. I then scan my surroundings once more. The reason I'm here is because I'm looking for that girl. The ghost Kai claims to have seen. I've heard those rumors before, but I didn't think it'd turn out to be Airi. I first learned about her 9 years ago, but I haven't seen her since. And I didn't want to. After my legs were crippled, I dropped out of college and came back to the island. It's a tiny place. I've had plenty of opportunities to see her again. I mean, I could easily just make excuses since I'm an analog person who doesn't even own a tablet. So what am I even doing right now? Looking for the ghosts of the past, I would say. What do I intend on doing when I find her? I don't know, and yet you are looking for her.
本当に何なんだろうな。
But whether or not she'll show up is the question now, isn't it? I laugh at myself and turn in the direction of the community center's remains. There she is. And I think she knows you're there, Mizuka. We make eye contact. I forget to breathe for a second as I stare at her. It's as if she's standing there, tangibly, like a real person. On top of that, Airi looks at me and happily smiles, just as she did 9 years ago. So I guess Misaki introduced Mizuki to Airi. That single word is enough to shake me to my very core. But it's not Airi's fault. It's been 9 years since we last met, yet here she is, casually greeting me just like we just saw each other yesterday. Which, you kind of did. Well, she saw you.
天気の話聞きたいですか？
And of course, Irie is going through her usual personality routine.
明日7月18日の鹿児島県種子島屋久島地方のお天気は東の風やや強く晴れでしょう。
I don't just think that she's programmed to simply talk about the weather as a start for all of her conversations. I think Irie has grown attached to actually talking about the weather, whether or not she's actually programmed to do so or not.
最高気温は30度、最低気温25度、波の高さ3メートルの予想です。
変わってないね。
So she was like this all this time. Her innocent smile. The fact that she likes talking about the weather. Her looks, her height.
あまりにも何も変わってなくて、ゾッとしちゃうよ。
Well, she is an artificial construct after all. Of course she wouldn't age over time. Because she wasn't designed to. Of course, I wonder if Mizuka is aware of Airi's other function. Of course, Airi being an AI, she, even after all this time, she probably doesn't fully understand the nuances of human interactions. After seeing her again, I finally realize that I wanted to express the single emotion that I've kept bottled up for 9 years.
なあ、アイリー。
And it's not one of joyful reminiscence.
9年。ずっとここに縛られてるのかい？
芝？アイリーにはちょっとよくわからないです。
Well, that's actually not surprising, given the fact that Airi isn't quite, well, she's not really trapped in the conventional sense. It's not as if she's a prisoner, but she doesn't have freedom of movement either. It's a bit complicated.
あんたは今、幸せ？
Airi doesn't answer. She tilts her head, waiting for me to speak again.
ねえ、アイリー。
Something deep inside my chest stings. I look up, as if to escape Airi's honest gaze.
消えてくんない？
Mizuka wants to bury it once and for all. I don't know if this is out of jealousy or friendship. Back then, and even now, this girl has always been in the way. But why? For what reason?
寒っ。
And now Kaito's, looks like Kaito's made it to Frau's inner sanctum inside the hotel. The moment I set foot into the sea of filth, I get chills. Well, without those chills, this place would be a sauna. In fact, this place would be a furnace. I instantly have goosebumps all over my arms. I momentarily hallucinated that some foul and restless malice was lurking about, but no, it's just cold. Now, I don't think the Dementors are from Azkaban are lurking around Kaito, which is a good thing, because everything would truly be frozen if that were the case. The windows are shut tight and the AC is on full blast, spewing cold air. Man, this room is nuts. It's a fortress. Pretty much. I'm surprised she reorganized, or more like remodeled it to this degree. I helped carry luggage when she moved in, but there's even more stuff here than before. It also got messier. Who needs this many monitors? Frau, for one. How many does she have wired up? Well, let's count. I would say 12. Um, yeah, she got 12 monitors, and she also has the her her own Pokécom wired here. At least I think that's what that is. They're the only light sources in the room. Well, there's lights here and here. But these are the main sources of illumination, I would say. The screens are looping Kill-Ballad demo gameplay. Of course, Kaito needs to help Frau hunt for cheaters on Kill-Ballad.
おーい、コナちゃん。
She's the one who invited me, but she's nowhere to be found. She answered the intercom, so she's got to be around here somewhere. Part of me is actually dreading when or if she might show up. That said, it's super dark, so even if she were right in front of me, it'd take a sec to notice her.
Hello, world.
All of a sudden, a hand bursts forth from the mountain of trash in front of the monitors. Damn, that scared me. Save the horror movie stuff for the screen, please. Upon closer inspection, the hand didn't emerge from a mountain of trash. It came out from a mountain of blankets. I imagine that the owner of said hand must be wrapped up in them somewhere beneath. Yeah.
で、貸すべきでしょ、上皇。
The slender hand opens and closes repeatedly. It's kind of like the hand is talking. Creepy. With no other choices available to me, I grab her hand.
うわ、冷た。手冷たすぎるよ。
Hence why she is wrapped up in copious amounts of blankets.
そりゃまあ、こんなクソ寒い部屋にいればそうなるだろうけど。
I pull on Frau's hand and stand her up.
おつ。
And of course, she's in the exact same disheveled state that she was before. This girl has completely abandoned her humanity. When I first saw her on the plane back from Kagoshima, she was dressed a bit stylish, just like a Tokyo girl. I don't know if her non-existent desire to go to school makes her more or less pure.
エアコン弱めたら。
心配してくれてるんですね。だが断る。寒いくらいの方が好きだし。そんな温度
PC が熱暴走するっつうの。
Yeah, I figured as much. Seriously? Yes, Kaito, seriously. Yeah. Those monitors and this computer system does produce a lot of heat. Her eyes start to wander about rapidly as she whispers to herself. I really don't like how Frau does this. I can't keep up.
あ、そうだ。ロゼッタ、おもてなし、ステップ1は。
Yes, Kaito doesn't know about Frau's little companion AIs. Rosetta, who's that? They are about to be
Haku.
introduced. Or maybe not. Frau slowly opens up one of the blankets she's wrapped in, folds it up neatly and places it at my feet.
どうぞ。
Is this supposed to be a floor? It's supposed to be a floor cushion. Kind of, I guess. No other choice, I plop down on it.
ステップ2。お菓子、ポッキーなら箱買いしてるし。
Yeah, yeah. For those of you who are wondering what Pocky is, it's actually kind of like it's basically just a chocolate stick. Although it comes in different flavors, like the strawberry ones that Frau is so intent on devouring. But yeah, that's what they are.
先輩、何か飲む？
Is it just me, or is she talking to herself even more than when I last saw her?
あったかい飲み物は？
あるある。ねえよ。
Yeah, don't think Frau does the whole tea thing.
このクソ寒い部屋でホットドリンクなしで過ごせと？
コーンスープならあるらしいよ。
Not really appetizing, if I'm being honest.
あるんじゃない。じゃあそれ。
But then again, it's that's all there is.
お湯沸かすのめんどくせえ。
This is the worst. I expected to be able to hold a conversation with someone who has such low communication skills. Again, you're usually one to talk, Kaito. Frau's been acting restless for a while now.
まあ、君も座りなよ。
どうも。
Prompted by my own suggestion, Frau sits herself down right in front of me.
俺がここに来た理由はわかる？
監禁して病弱。それなんて色気？
The creepiness factor is strong with this one. Well, we get to learn about a Roger now. Great. 18 plus games that were popular from the late 1980s to the early 2010s are mainly featured mainly on PCs. While it may be referred to as a game, the gameplay consists of nothing but reading text. In this genre of games, the player grows closer to the main heroines, experiencing sexual events with them over the course of the story. These events occasionally include subjects such as coercion and even rape. At its peak, over 1,000 titles have been released from various publishers, and despite the source material's 18+ content, several anime were based off of some of the games, many of which established a cult following. Nowadays, the Pokécom's popularity has crippled the eroge market, leading multiple companies to redirect their attention to creating applications for smart devices instead.
Huh?
Don't think about it too hard, Kaito. I think your brain might collapse and have malfunction.
あ、今のなし。
チーター狩りの件だよ。
Yeah, let's get this back on track.
カタ。
Despite having just sat down, for some reason, Frau abruptly stands back up. She then immediately sits right back down.
今の驚いた時のポーズ的な。
I was very surprising of you there. Which means she totally forgot about our deal.
ロボアン世界大会の出場はなくなりそうなんだよね。
Yeah.
で、俺は暇になったわけだけど、コナちゃんに交換条件の借りを返してないなって気づいてね。
In exchange for Frau creating M45's program, I was supposed to help her with a cheetah hunt. Those were the conditions we agreed upon, vague as they might have been. I came here of my own volition. I prefer not to interact with our club's newest member, but not repaying her meant she'd be shadowing me forever. Well, considering the fact that she completely forgot, as evidenced by her behavior, yeah.
トンクス。
But then again, Kaito does keep his word.
は？
トン。ありがとうございます。
最初からそう言えばいいのに。
先輩、テラド S じゃね？
So Frau is apparently not only a Hikikomori shuddered, but also a masochist, as well as a computer expert. Great.
でもそんな先輩が受けに回ると悔しい。でも感じちゃうビクビク状態なんですね。わかります。デュー。メガネとの薄い本はよ。
She said something about a thin book before, and I getting a pit in my stomach as we find out what it is. Net slang used in the 2000s, used mainly to talk about doujinshi featuring 18+ content. Yeah. Yeah, she basically wants lewd manga content starring none other than Subaru Hidaka.
あのさ、ジュースを捉えない。
That was no magic incantation, Kaito. I haven't the slightest clue what she's talking about.
それで、チーター狩りのことについて詳しく教えて。テキストで OK。口頭で 部屋に来れば詳しく教えるってコナちゃんが言ったんだけど。
私説明うまくないわけだが。
Not in person anyway.
別にいい、暇だしね。
ぐぬぬ。
Well, you're just going to have to deal with it, I guess. Frau thinks to herself for a while, then sighs deeply. Looks like she gave in.
キルバラのリーダーボード出せる？
ああ、俺のポケコンからいいよ。
Can do.
出た。
Frau leans up against me and peers at my perfect arm. Considering how much of a train wreck she is, I thought she'd smell like sweat, but she doesn't. I think we can thank the AC for that. Well, I guess he wouldn't sweat in a room this cold. Yeah, call it.
コナちゃんさ、そのボサボサの髪臭そうだね。
嗅いでみたいとか匂いフェチにも程があるを。でも気持ちはわかる。
わかるな、匂いフェチでもないから。
私髪鋼みたいに硬くてブラシかけるのすごく大変です。
Or you could just say that it's just completely tangled and full of knots.
だからめんどくさくてやってませんって言いたいんでしょ。
先輩が好いてくれてもよくってよ。
なんで俺がやらなくちゃいけないんだよ。俺だってめんどくさいよ。
女子の髪を合法的にサワサワできるまたとないチャンスだというのに。
Yeah, no. Does she want me to touch her hair?
いいから説明の続き。
Frau clicks her tongue a little, then points at my Pokemon screen.
リーダーボードの上位5人いるっしょ。
The top 5, eh?
私先月までこの5人全員チーターだと思ってたけん。
Well, Kai does have, well... Yeah, his condition ultimately allows him to have slightly faster reflexes and better reaction times. But he is a Kill-Ballad purist, if ever I've seen one. But that fits in with, but yeah, Frau's statement there fits in with Kaito's own assessment that aside from, well, he doesn't believe that Tajiringa is a cheater, although we'd have to prove their innocence in that case. But the first three, Takano Ai, Hanaso, and Bob Lee are
確かに
suspect.
上位5位までは結構長い間順位固定されちゃってるよね。
But as Kaito pointed out a while back, it's not that easy to jump up the ranks. You know, for example, if White Bean Guy were to, even if he were to defeat Kaito, that wouldn't necessarily allow him to jump ranks so easily. Normally rankings like this move around a lot even at the top. But I think KB's hasn't moved for over half a year.
だから傍目から見ると余計不正行為をしているように見えるのかも。でも少なくとも俺は違う。
But then again, as long as they don't get beaten by certain opponents, so yeah, as long as they don't fight multiple matches, they can hold on to their positions easier. Number 5, Umisho is me.
それと4位のタジリンもチーターじゃない。
Tajirin refers to Tajirina, a ringer.
なんでわかるの？
わかるんだよ、これぐらいの腕になればね。手合わせしてみた時の手触りみたいなのがね、違うんだ。
Plus, I still think Tajiringer is Mizune, which means that there's no way that they're cheating, though,
先輩のゲーマーとしての勘がささやくんですね。わかります。
言い方はともかく、感覚としてはそんな感じ。
12秒ボツ。
you are the last person to talk about Chunibiu, Frau. For those of you who don't know what Chunibiu is, literally 8th grade syndrome, a term referring to a mindset exhibited primarily by teenage males, also used as a derogatory term to refer to older people who still exhibit this mindset. Characterized by an affected attitude of nihilism or cynicism, extreme self-centeredness, delusions of power or superiority, and the consuming fear of being treated as a child. The person exhibiting these symptoms believe they are cool, but most observers find them pathetic. Chunibiu, which is often abbreviated as Chuni, also refers to the fictional tropes that teenage males often enjoy, such as ancient conspiracies, superpowers, especially powers sealed in a character's eye or arm, Norse mythology, battles for the fate of the multiverse, etc. The consummate Chunibiu case would work such elements into his own personal backstory. 2010 was the golden age for this behavior. Yeah, I wonder why. I wonder why that is. Yeah, we certainly wouldn't have to do with the poster boy of Chunibiuism, Ho in Kyola. Perish the thought. She barfs out some more words and grins. I'm just gonna ignore her. Above Tajirin on the rankings is an iron fortress, an unbreachable wall leading to another world. I fought the top 3 dozens of times up until now, but I've never gotten a win. Number 1 is, of course, Takano Ai, 1998. Second, Hanaso, 1991. Third, Bubbly, 1983.
こいつらはチートを使ってる。俺の感触は確かだね。対戦中に明らかに人間技じゃない動きをすることがあるんだ。
同意。私も確かめた。
そもそも3人ともアカウントの命名パターンが同じなのも怪しいんだよな。
It's not entirely uncommon for certain handles to share certain characteristics, but Kaito is right. The fact that they're all using the same similar format is very suspicious. They all end with a 4-digit number, probably a year.
もしかするとこの3人 裏で繋がってるかもしれないな。
Sure, it's a stretch, but anything is possible.
同じチートツールで不正してる？
I wonder about that.
可能性はゼロじゃない。何にせよ、チーター狩りで最初にターゲットにすべきはこの上位3人だってこと。
They might have found a way to mod the system to their advantage. But again, we need to actually have proof.
オッケー。
で、どうやって狩るわけ？
先輩は単に相手と対戦すればいい。
That's if we actually get paired up with them.
チートを判別する解析ツールを作ったんで、対戦中それ走らせる。
Well, that's very convenient.
相手がチート使ってれば証拠ゲットだぜ。最近チート使いもすごく高度になってて、なかなか証拠とか残さないんで。
Yeah, that's technology for
バ
you.
ンするなら管理者の推測かガチの証拠を手に入れるかのどっちかしか方法ないんだけど。
Yeah. Can't just ban people on a whim. Won't work that way. Anyway, ban. Short for banishment. If something is banned, then it is prohibited or not allowed. Can also mean to forcibly shut down or forcefully shut down a person's user account due to them continuing to break rules even after receiving multiple warnings. But we're going up against some heavy hitters, the heaviest hitters in all of Kill-Ballad. If the administrator just banned the top 5 rankers based on a guess, people would stop playing KB, which is why Frau didn't do it. The trust between the administrator and the users would completely collapse on itself. Players would fear getting banned just for doing something the admin didn't like, so they'd just quit the game. On the other hand, cheaters get to do as they please by taking advantage of that trust. I'm not a fan. Furthermore, if the cheaters are targeting top spots, I'll never be able to reach the top. Ever. That is
何にせ
true.
よ、俺は対戦するだけか。勝ち負けにはこだわらない。
負けても大丈夫だ。問題ない。
Here's hoping that that's true. If I can win, that'd be awesome. They're using illegal tools. That's not an easy mountain to climb. Hell, out of 100 matches, I could just maybe take one.
ちなみにさ、上位3人って俺もたまにしか会えないんだよね。どうやって対戦するつもり？
Not even Frau can achieve the
マ
impossible.
ッチングするまで待てばいいんじゃね？
That's gonna take a while. We need very good RNG for that.
ノープランってことか。
Pretty much. I can't help but sigh. Well, we're just gonna have to take a wait and see approach, I guess. I gaze out at the evening sun from the abandoned hotel's hallway, all the while sipping on corn soup. Good place to take a break, and when we return, we shall see whether or not we're lucky enough to be paired up against one of the top 3 players of Kill-Ballad and determine whether or not they're cheaters once and for all. As always, until next we meet.